Hey, what's going on? Today we're gonna walk through a little bit of the street photo that I've been doing with my buddy Pat. It was a beautiful evening in June here in Philadelphia, 2022. Tonight I'm shooting with the XE1 with the 27 millimeter Fuji kind of pancake lens, the 2.8. Kind of doing some experimental things, so let's get into it. I'll kind of walk you through how I shoot, what I'm thinking, or rather what I'm not thinking. So on this first shot, my buddy Pat and I kind of started the evening. I met up with him in Rittenhouse Square, saw him sitting on the bench eating some pretzels, having some snacks and his iced tea, and I thought it'd be nice to snap a portrait of him real shallow. Obviously shooting wide open for this lens 2.8, you get that nice soft background, little balls in the tree there. I love that. Composition, he's center of the frame, not much to see there, but what you can see is context. Those guys sitting in the back doing their thing, same exact thing as what we're doing, but in a different light. Alright, moving on. The shot, we're walking down the street, just hopped off the bike, accidentally shifted the aperture to 3.2, shooting a little faster because I was trying to get some shots on my bike of Pat skating in front of me. Again, this portrait, pretty underexposed. I actually push it up in the edit here quite a bit, and you can see it gets real kind of grainy with this XE1. It doesn't do well in low light. It's real kind of crushed on his face there. There's not much more that I can bring out of it, but I think that tells the story of the evening real nice. Alright, back here in the park. Went back here, now I'm shooting wide open, trying to get as much light as I can. It's still a little underexposed, but it's neat seeing the light come off his phone screen. I love a lot of things going on in this photo. I love seeing people chatting in the back, two friends there, then you have a couple over there leaning in real close, you have a girl on a bench in the back, and that's actually where the focus is, so it's hopefully leading you over there. I think to see the girl reading a book and Pat in the foreground on his phone kind of is an interesting story in itself as the lights coming down in the park. This next one, this is where I tell Pat I'm going to get a little abstract. You drag the shutter a little bit, half-second shutter, same settings as before, f3.2 here, accidentally kind of shut that down a little bit further, but it doesn't really matter because when you're dragging it, you're going to let that light in anyway. Kind of swiping with the lights. I thought it would be neat to do it around the bench because they just put in the new benches this spring in Philadelphia and Rittenhouse. So. Same thing with this next shot. Same settings, except kind of sped the shutter up a little bit because I'm shooting up into the sky. It's a little bit brighter. This one I actually bumped saturation in the edit and did something else. I believe I used the dehaze tool, which is an interesting feature in Lightroom. You can see a little bit of like banding going on there in the top right corner. It's kind of neat with the neon colors. Kind of looks almost like a painting kind of thing because there's a swirliness to it, but also you can see I drag the shutter, so there's like a swooshiness to it. It's real artistic. So someone from Philly might know that scene. Look up that way. It's pretty cool. Moving on here, we've got Pat. Wanted to do a portrait of him with the same settings, kind of pointing at him by doing the drag the shutter, kind of twist the camera a little bit. And I did this a couple times, and this is the one I came out on I like the most. I really like this because you can still see a face in there despite all the kind of abstract forms. You've got his mouth, you've got his nose, you can barely see where his eyes would be, but all in all, you can tell it's a face sitting in light, and you can maybe infer that the green of the back are trees, so it's a park, which is exactly where it is. All right, coming back to kind of standard settings, went to a 30th of a second. definitely the slowest I can go with this lens. If I, hold my breath, maybe I could go to a 15th, but shooting up at these buildings here. Definitely lifted the shadows to get a little more detail in the building. It adds that nice architectural shape to everything. I don't know, real cool blue tones here. This is kind of that blue hour. It's not golden hour, it's blue hour, and that's what I wanted to get out here. Mainly when I was looking at the sky, you see that gradation, it's real nice. Definitely shooting shallow to let the light in, but it's not so shallow that nothing is in focus. It's a wider lens, so it works. Going on to this fountain, this is actually Washington Square. We kind of biked over that way. A couple things I like about this photo in particular. I love seeing Pat and my shadow in the bottom left corner, along with the two kind of coupled up pairings there. You have the couple, or it might even be friends, I don't know. I'm silly to assume, but it looked like she's listening really intently to the guy there sitting on the front of the fountain. All the while the girls are chatting in the back, also at the same kind of close listening. Love seeing the light haze in the back of the kind of lights leading away toward Independence Hall. I also kind of dragged the shutter to a half second to get the fountain kind of swaying, let more light in. Cool shot, all in all. I like that scene. Again, here we are with the fountain, a little bit closer, a little bit moodier, still getting the haziness of the lights, letting the shutter drag. Again, shutting down the aperture a little more, accident because I was riding my bike, but it works. I mean, it makes it a little bit grainier when it's trying to get that information in the dark. Again, I lifted the exposure a little bit in post. All right, here we are, 1/8 of a second, going down Spruce Street down toward the Schuylkill River. Pat and I are cruising. He's on a skateboard, I'm on my bike. This is cool because it kind of shows the moodiness of the dark city with the street lights, but at the same time there's a lot of motion going on. He was carving pretty hard down the bottom end of Spruce Street there. And he's wearing sandals, which I think is super cool. You can still make that out in the photo despite it being a drag shutter, and kind of get that blurry vision almost to simulate like a late night energy going on, skating around. This last shot is kind of a bonus, I guess a standard shot. It's a 30th of a second, so it's there, but I definitely lifted the exposure and saturation in post. And the FMC building had full-on rainbow lights. I kind of wanted to crush it out, lift it as much as I could, and I don't know, it makes for a striking image. It's not sharp by any means, but you can tell what it is, and it's colorful, and I don't know, makes me look twice, I guess. So real fun. And that's it for this month's kind of photo walk here, or photo ride rather. Hoping to do some more in the coming future. I like getting experimental. I don't think there's any right things or wrong things to do when you have a camera in your hand. I mean, well, there's definitely some wrong things, but I don't know. It's just fun to experiment without any rules. So till next time, looking forward to it. Peace.